Singapore, small in size, but massive in influence. But just how important is it to the United States? From military deals to tech innovation and even controlling global trade routes, Singapore is not just another dot on the map. In fact, some say it plays a role just as important as countries like the UK or Australia when it comes to U.S. strategy in Asia. Why? Because in a world where location, stability, and partnerships shape global power, Singapore checks every box. Today, we're breaking down exactly how strategic Singapore is to the U.S. and why it matters more than ever. 1. Singapore's superpower, location. Let's begin with one word, location. Singapore isn't just well placed, it's perfectly placed. It sits right at the Strait of Malacca, one of the most critical maritime choke points in the world. Now, what does that really mean? Imagine a bottleneck through which around 40% of the world's trade passes every single day. We're talking about oil from the Middle East, electronics from East Asia, and manufactured goods from Europe, all squeezing through this narrow passage. And yes, that includes billions of dollars in U.S. imports. If this strait were ever blocked, whether by conflict, piracy, or geopolitical tensions, the impact wouldn't just stay within Southeast Asia. Gas prices in California skyrocket. Electronics in New York delayed. Supply chains across the U.S. disrupted overnight. Now, if you're thinking about other countries with similar strategic importance, think of places like the Suez Canal in Egypt or the Panama Canal in Panama. These are also choke points that control global trade routes, vital passages that link the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans. But none of them hold quite the same sway as Singapore, particularly when it comes to the constant flow of trade between East and West. That's why Singapore's position isn't just strategic, it's essential. It's often described as the guardian of global trade, keeping the lifeblood of commerce moving seamlessly across Asia and the world. Without Singapore's support, the global economy would face serious disruptions, especially in critical industries that the U.S. depends on. In a world where supply chains are the backbone of economic power, the U.S. knows having Singapore as an ally here is like holding the remote control to a massive chunk of the global economy. In short, Singapore is the geopolitical middleman, linking the Pacific and Indian Oceans, and acting as the bridge between East and West. Its location makes it a linchpin in global trade, right up there with other crucial strategic points like the Suez Canal. And that's just the beginning. 2. Military importance, strategic partnerships. When it comes to military power, Singapore punches well above its weight. Despite being a small nation, its strategic military alliances and defense infrastructure make it one of the U.S.'s most important partners in Asia. Let's talk about defense cooperation. The U.S. and Singapore have a robust partnership in terms of military training, joint exercises, and logistical support. In fact, Singapore hosts U.S. military forces on its soil, giving the U.S. a key foothold in Southeast Asia. The U.S. Navy, for example, regularly uses Singapore's naval facilities to support its presence in the region. This is no small thing. In a region that's becoming increasingly volatile, with rising tensions in places like the South China Sea, having a reliable military partner like Singapore is invaluable. The strategic location also allows U.S.-like forces to project power quickly in the event of regional crises, whether it's deterring aggression or maintaining peacekeeping missions. You can think of it like the UK's role in Europe or Australia's significance in the Pacific. These countries have been long-standing military allies of the U.S., and Singapore plays a similarly crucial role, but in the Southeast Asian context. With the Indo-Pacific becoming an area of intense competition and U.S.-China rivalry, Singapore's role has only become more vital. Moreover, Singapore's military neutrality adds another layer of importance. While many countries in the region are aligned with one side or another, Singapore has successfully maintained a stance of neutrality, making it a valuable partner for the U.S. It doesn't play favorites, which allows for a more flexible, stable alliance. This partnership is also about security cooperation, such as intelligence sharing, counterterrorism efforts, and cybersecurity. As cyber threats evolve, having a partner that can share intelligence and provide security infrastructure like Singapore is a huge asset for the U.S. In short, Singapore's military significance to the U.S. is multifaceted, from hosting military assets to being a key strategic partner in the region. With the growing geopolitical rivalry, especially with China, Singapore's role in maintaining a strong, stable presence for the U.S. in Southeast Asia cannot be overstated. And this military partnership is more than just about defense. It's about ensuring the security and stability of the entire Indo-3 economic powerhouse, trade and innovation hub. Now let's talk about economics. Singapore may be small, but its economic influence is massive. It is one of the wealthiest nations in the world and serves as a global trade and financial hub. For the United States, this makes Singapore a key partner in trade and investment. First off, Singapore is one of the top U.S. trading partners in Asia. In fact, the U.S. exports billions of dollars worth of goods to Singapore every year, including machinery, chemicals, and agricultural products. It's also a major gateway for U.S. companies looking to expand their reach in the broader Asian market. Given its open economy and pro-business environment, Singapore is an attractive destination for American businesses, whether in finance, tech, or consumer goods. But Singapore's importance doesn't just lie in being a trading partner. It's also a critical investment hub. The country has long been a place for American companies to invest and set up regional headquarters. Major tech giants like Google, Apple, and Microsoft have significant operations in Singapore, thanks to its innovative tech ecosystem and high-quality infrastructure. Beyond just trade and business, Singapore is also one of the world's leading innovation hubs. The U.S. recognizes Singapore as a leader in areas like fintech, artificial intelligence, AI, and cybersecurity. The country has continually invested in its tech-driven future, creating a strong environment for innovation. This aligns perfectly with U.S. interests, as American tech companies rely on global collaboration for growth and development. Moreover, Singapore's role as a financial hub in Asia cannot be overstated. It's one of the world's top financial centers, with strong banking, insurance, and investment sectors. This is crucial for the U.S. as Singapore serves as a link between American financial institutions and the broader Asia-Pacific region. The close economic ties make it easier for U.S. companies to navigate Asia's complex markets while benefiting from Singapore's favorable business policies. In short, Singapore's economic power is felt far beyond its borders. It serves as a trade hub, an investment destination, and a technology leader. Its economic strength and global influence make it a valuable partner for the United States, ensuring that both countries continue to benefit from a thriving, interconnected global economy. And as we look to the future, Singapore's economic trajectory will remain a key asset for the U.S., helping to strengthen ties and deepen collaboration in an increased military and security cooperation, a strategic ally in Asia. When it comes to military and security, Singapore's importance to the United States is undeniable. Although it may be small in size, Singapore has long been a trusted military partner in the Asia-Pacific region, and its strategic location amplifies its value to the U.S. The key to understanding Singapore's military importance is its role in regional stability. The U.S. and Singapore have maintained a strong defense relationship for decades, built on mutual interests and shared concerns over regional security. Singapore hosts several U.S. military assets, including naval ships, Air Force units, and Army training facilities. This cooperation provides the U.S. military with a critical staging ground for operations in Southeast Asia, particularly when tensions arise in areas like the South China Sea or the Korean Peninsula. The Singapore-U.S. Comprehensive Partnership encompasses joint military exercises, training, and even defense technology sharing. In fact, Singapore is one of the few countries in Asia that has access to advanced U.S. military technology, a testament to the deep trust between the two nations. This partnership ensures that both countries can respond quickly and effectively to potential threats in the region. What makes Singapore even more valuable from a military perspective is its neutral stance on many global issues, combined with its strong military capabilities. It isn't embroiled in territorial disputes or military alliances that could complicate its relationship with the U.S. Instead, it serves as a reliable partner and a stabilizing force in the region. The U.S. also benefits from Singapore's role as a global security partner. As a signatory of international agreements and an active member of organizations like the United Nations, Association of Southeast Asian Nations, Singapore works with the U.S. on matters like counterterrorism, peacekeeping, and disaster relief operations. It has contributed to global peacekeeping missions and worked alongside U.S. forces in areas like Afghanistan and Iraq. But it's not just about military assets and cooperation. Singapore also serves as a diplomatic bridge between the U.S. and other countries in Asia. Its position as a respected neutral player gives the U.S. an important diplomatic foothold in the region. For example, Singapore played a key role in hosting the historic summit between USA President Donald Trump and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un in 2018, highlighting its unique role in facilitating dialogue and diplomacy in volatile regions. In short, Singapore's strategic military importance to the U.S. goes far beyond its size. With its military assets, advanced defense technology, neutral diplomacy, and key partnerships, Singapore is an indispensable ally in ensuring security and stability in the Asia-Pacific. For the U.S., having Singapore in its corner ensures that it can respond swiftly to any military or security threat in one of the world's most. Suggestion number 8, housing affordability and public housing. Housing in Singapore has always been a hot-button issue, but in the lead-up to the 2025 general election, it's becoming even more urgent. As property prices skyrocket and younger generations struggle to afford their own homes, the conversation around housing affordability is reaching a boiling point. For decades, the Housing Development Board, HDB, flats have been a cornerstone of Singapore's public housing system. Nearly 80% of Singaporeans live in these flats, making them an essential part of the nation's identity. But with the rising demand for property and limited land in the city-state, prices are climbing higher than ever. Even flats meant for lower-income citizens are no longer as affordable as they once were. This issue is particularly pressing for the younger generation. Millennials and Gen Z are finding it harder to buy their first home, even with government subsidies. Many are forced to move further away from the city center, resulting in longer commutes and less desirable living conditions. For some, the dream of homeownership feels increasingly out of reach. But it's not just about buying homes. Rental prices are also becoming more expensive. For many young professionals or expats, securing an affordable rental apartment is becoming a serious challenge. The growing cost of living, combined with stagnant wages for some, is creating financial stress for a large section of the population. So what's at stake? Well, housing isn't just about affordability. It's tied to the very fabric of Singapore's society. Homeownership has long been seen as a key part of achieving financial independence and stability, as well as fostering a sense of community. The big question leading up to 2025 is, how will the government address the growing demand for affordable housing while balancing the needs of a rapidly urbanizing population? Voters will likely expect solutions like more affordable housing schemes, faster delivery of flats, or expanded rental options. There may also be calls for greater transparency and fairness in how housing policies are rolled out. Affordable, accessible housing has always been a point of pride for Singapore. But the question is whether the current model can hold up as the city continues to grow. And, more importantly, will the government act swiftly enough to ensure that everyone can enjoy the security and stability that comes with owning or renting a home in Singapore? Housing affordability will definitely be one of the defining issues shaping the 2025 election. Time number 7, economic growth and job security. Singapore's economy has been a beacon of prosperity in Southeast Asia, known for its resilience, global financial connectivity, and high standards of living. But as the world shifts towards a new economic order, marked by digitalization, automation, and global economic uncertainties, the big question on voters' minds for the 2025 general election is, how will Singapore maintain its economic stability and create secure, meaningful jobs for its citizens? The economy is still growing, but growth rates have slowed in recent years. Global inflation, trade disruptions, and the ongoing impact of the COVID-19 pandemic are just a few of the external pressures that are making economic recovery more difficult. With industries evolving rapidly, there is a growing fear among both older and younger generations about the future of job security. For younger Singaporeans, especially fresh graduates, job market uncertainty is a pressing concern. Many are struggling to enter a workforce that is increasingly automated and digitized. Industries like finance, manufacturing, and even retail are undergoing major shifts, and some workers fear they'll be left behind as their roles become redundant or automated. But the biggest change in the labor market is the shift towards digital and green economy jobs. These new sectors promise growth, but many feel that the transition has been too slow or insufficient. For example, the push for green energy jobs, sustainable industries, and technology roles has opened up opportunities, but many are unsure if they have the skills required to thrive in these fields. For older generations, job security in their later years has also become a key issue. As life expectancy increases and retirement ages rise, Singapore's aging workforce is a concern. Many are asking, will there be enough opportunities for older workers to continue contributing productively? Another aspect of economic growth that voters will be keen on is wage growth. As inflation continues to rise, many Singaporeans are concerned that wages aren't keeping pace with the cost of living. This is especially true for lower income workers or those in the service and retail sectors who feel the pinch the most. How will the government tackle these issues? Will it be able to ensure that economic growth remains inclusive with sufficient opportunities for all citizens, both young and old, to find stable and rewarding careers? The future of Singapore's workforce and the economic policies around job creation, reskilling, and wages will undoubtedly play a pivotal role in the 2025 elections.